California. Here's the voice of the runners, Corey Costello.
And welcome once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. I'm Corey Costello. Thanks so much for joining us. On today's program, we got a fun show planned for you. On today's show, we're going to be speaking, Runner April continues, or as we like to call it, hashtag Runner April continues. As we're going to be speaking, coming up on the program, a couple of our coaches are going to be joined by Josiah Castro, our assistant AD for annual giving. He's going to be joined today by Marcia Mansur-Wentworth, our director of track and field, and Richie Grant of CSUB men's soccer, because it is now time for the third of the three C's, which is competition, and we'll talk about that with a couple of coaches who are definitely benefiting from the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund in their program. On the track side, some individual champions in the Western Athletic Conference, men's soccer as well. Last year, just a couple penalty kicks away from winning the Western Athletic Conference tournament, second place finishers. So we'll speak with those coaches along with Josiah coming up a little bit later in the program at the bottom of the hour. Also coming up on the program in the next segment of the show, we'll be joined by Mike Mendoza, our CSUB wrestling head coach. His Evening with Stephen Neal is coming up very shortly, the annual fundraiser for the CSUB wrestling program. We will chat with Mike about that. And they got some really cool stuff happening as well alongside that this year. A chance to get your hands on both tickets for his event and obviously see Stephen Neal speak, but also good promotion going on as well for CSUB wrestling. And don't forget the Rowdies, because apparently it's dying to be talked about. That's falling behind me, but that's coming up June 4th. More on that as we continue on the program. And also today, last segment of the show, I can't wait for this. We're going to be speaking with Tyonna Outland. She will join us. She, of course, the CSUB All-American women's basketball player, and now she signed a contract with the Los Angeles Sparks of the WNBA. So we'll talk with Tyonna about that and her opportunities at the professional level coming up in the last segment of the show. So a lot of great stuff to get to on today's program. Let's start with baseball, because they're going to be at home for 8 games. And let's start with what happened last weekend on the road at Sacramento State, winning 1-0 Friday. We pick up the action on Saturday. David Metzger, a single, and he follows it up with a stolen base right there. So the Roadrunners in the second inning in scoring position. And then there it is into left field, an RBI for Chance Guspeth to come in to score for the Roadrunners as Bakersfield up 2-0, and that is pretty much all they would need as heading to second base on the play. Actually, that was Max Carter with the 2 RBI single and the extra base as well. Bakersfield continuing to roll. Here's Ryan Grotjohn later in the ball game. An RBI single going to score David Metzger. Grotjohn also homered in this game. Runners win on Saturday 5-0. James Berrigan with a 1-hitter as well on the mound. Sunday for CSUB, they were trailing early. A bit of a battle for the Roadrunners. Here's a double into left field. This is going to be Ryan Grotjohn once again. Actually, that was a single, and then Chance Guspeth with an RBI single for the right side. That's going to score 2 runs for CSUB late in this game in the 8th, but it wasn't enough. They would fall on Sunday 7-4. So the bad news is they didn't sweep Sacramento State. This was Sunday's score. Friday, though, the Runners did win 1-0. How about that? It was Hayden Carter throwing the complete game. 1-0 victory. Great defense by the Roadrunners. Chance Guspeth, the RBI single, the difference maker in that one, and great defense out of the CSUB infield and some spectacular outfield catches as well. And then James Berrigan, who comes back, he tosses a 1-hitter on Saturday, a 1-hitter, and the Roadrunners win 5-0. So Bakersfield finds themselves jumping up in the WAC standings thanks to this sweep. This 2 out of 3, I should say. Here's what's coming up for the Roadrunners. They are going to be busy at home. Like I mentioned earlier, an 8-game homestand starts on Wednesday in a non-conference game against Cal State Fullerton. Join us at Hartfield for that at 6 o'clock. And then it is a first-place series, because the winner of this series will have sole possession of first place. This is how it's going to work. This is what happens when you get this far into the conference season. Seattle at CSUB, 1-2, going at it this weekend. Friday at 6 o'clock. Saturday, we have a special 2 p.m. start for Celebrate CSUB, and then Sunday at noon. Tickets available now at GoRunners.com or ValleyTix.com. Make sure you check out that series. Very important one, because as we look at the standings, here's where it maps out. The Roadrunners right there, 10-4-1. Seattle at 12-3. So 2 back. So the winner of the series is going to have first place. So the Runners the chance to jump up and get Seattle, take over the first place spot. Grand Canyon 11-3. That's nice. They're not eligible for the conference tournament, so the Runners essentially in second place. Northern Colorado, who's 9-6, does come to Bakersfield next weekend. So the teams that hovering around the Roadrunners, they're playing at home in the next 2 weeks. So do not miss these games this weekend and next weekend as well at Hartfield. Hart Field. So that is CSUB baseball, winning 2 out of 3 at Sacramento State. A great performance in pitching and defense, and the offense wasn't terrible either. And the Roadrunners will now play for first place this weekend at Hart Field. So make sure you join us for those. All right, we head to CSUB men's soccer. They're playing a spring exhibition. They're winding up their exhibition season against Cal State San Bernardino. All Roadrunners in this one, threatening early, as you can see there. The San Bernardino keeper was very busy, and this is a case where, it's Roadrunners versus Coyotes, as Bakersfield, again, continues to push the pressure. Runners dominating this one, and several chances. Nice cross there. That's going to end up to be headed wide, as the Roadrunners playing this one through. Again, keeper out of the box. Nice save made there for San Bernardino. Eventually, though, things would come together for the Roadrunners, as this one on the doorstep, and that one's going to be pushed away as well. But how about this nice long send to Christian Duarte? He's going to go with the right foot. Boom, in the corner of the net. Runners on top 1-0 in the first half. So Bakersfield pressuring and finally getting the dam to break a little bit as well with the 1-0 score. Into the second half, Runners about 16 minutes in. They're going to find Brian Charles. Nice send on the outside, right foot finish. Runners go up 2-0 over Cal State San Bernardino in their final spring game. Brian Charles yeah, I had that goal last week against UCLA. You guys took away from me. Not this time. Runners win at 2-0 against San Bernardino as they conclude the spring portion of their schedule. The exhibition portion, Runners will be back in action next August. They'll open things up. Actually, I think September is their first home game at CSUB. More details on that coming up as well. So the Roadrunners winning and having a nice spring season, as Bakersfield will now settle and get ready for the fall season. On to CSUB softball. The Roadrunners were at home this weekend, taking on New Mexico State. Friday, they lose game 1-0. Apparently, the rules when it comes to having possession of standing on a base with a ball to force an out don't apply to New Mexico State, because the umpires ruling a game-ending play that would have scored the tying run for CSUB. Apparently, you can juggle a ball and walk across the base and still have it re-ruled an out in the Western Athletic Conference. So the Runners get shorted on winning game 1 of the series. So they lose 1-0 to New Mexico State. Then they turn around and lose game 2, 7-2. But the Runners would be the first ones to hand the Aggies a loss in Western Athletic Conference play. 3-1 they win on Saturday in the lone game of Saturday's action. So good win for the Roadrunners. Kelsey Monroe was fantastic. She was named WAC Pitcher of the Week as well for her efforts. Roadrunners now check out the standings. Very important. Actually, they're going to be on the road. One more conference series before they go to the conference tournament. Bakersfield is at Seattle this week, I should say. Friday at 4 and at 6 p.m. And then Saturday they'll play one game at 2 o'clock. But very important, because here's how it shakes out. The Roadrunners right there at 5-7 in WAC play. New Mexico State 11-1. They've locked up the 1 seed. Grand Canyon doesn't really count right now, so they are at number 2. But it will be the Roadrunners if they can just win a couple games in Seattle, and they can find themselves the number 2 seed in the Western Athletic Conference tournament. Not too shabby. That'll be played in Las Cruces in a couple weeks. So the Runners are the only team to beat New Mexico State this year, and they're going to be the number 2 seed. So they might not see the Aggies until the finals, so they can handle their business in the WAC tournament. But first, they got to go to Seattle. But a nice win for the Runners nonetheless, and they're in a great spot right now for the Western Athletic Conference tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. So a lot of good stuff for CSUB softball as well. What we want to do now is we get ready for our first guest coming in. It's we talked about soccer a little earlier. We had some highlights from their spring session, and we got a chance to bring back one of our favorite segments, the teammates, featuring none other than CSUB soccer. Let's take a look at our latest episode of Teammates, featuring our Bakersfield student athletes.
What's that? I'll say who's the ugliest in the team. Sure, who's that? Jerry.
Now, what as a team, you guys on the road, what's your favorite place to eat?
Probably Olive Garden.
I know our favorite place to actually eat is Jersey Mike's.
Something that good.
Okay, you're stranded on an island. Who is the teammate that you want to be stranded with you, Eden?
Oh, yeah!
I don't know what to do.
It's a case.
Any others?
Probably Tyler. Tyler Marcia, pretty smart.
Yeah. Now, if the zombie apocalypse breaks out, who gets eaten first?
Marshall.
All right. Who's most likely to appear on America's Got Talent?
Marcia. For singing.
Can you build us out a line or two?
Give me the shower though, I'll see right there.
All right. Who's most likely to appear on America's Most Wanted? Why would that be?
That's from the hood.
Who's always late?
He was sleeping, always sleeping.
Always sleep. All right. Who would you not let borrow your car?
You'll bring it 24 hours after that. That's why.
All right. Who cares maybe the least about their appearance? Who just shows up to class, whatever.
Yeah, I would say Eden or kind of bumping it up. Eden or Tyler.
Tyler kind of bums it out.
All right. Who is the worst roommate?
Tyler.
Who would you not let coach your kids in soccer? When you have kids that are playing, who you I don't want that guy coaching my kids. That's about it. That's all I need. Good. Thanks, guys. All right. And there you have it, our latest edition of Teammates with CSUB Men's Soccer. All right, we're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, Mike Mendoza is going to join us to CSUB Wrestling, and Evening with Stephen Neal is coming up. We'll talk about that next. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
Bakersfield Christian! Carson! Stockdale! Frontier!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing
One thing!
we can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
Introducing the Next Gen Home by Lennar. Your family is constantly evolving. The kids move out, the kids move back. Maybe grandma moves in. You need a home that will grow with you and your family. The Next Gen Home by Lennar has a separate private living space with a bathroom, kitchenette, and entrance all its own, but still connected to the rest of the house. It's a home within a home. New models now open in the Central Valley. To learn more, visit a Lennar Welcome Home Center near you or visit lennar.com.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet! You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californian's daily deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity,
on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community. A tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
And we are back here on Roadrunner Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. Get the show anytime online at GoRunners.com as well. And plenty of stuff happening on our website. Make sure you check it out on a daily basis, as we got a lot of things coming up here in the next couple of weeks. A lot of fundraiser things. We'll talk more about that with Josiah Castro and a couple of our other coaches in the next segment, the bottom of the hour. But something that's coming up here for CSUB Wrestling. First of all, they got their evening with Stephen Neal, as Mike Mendoza joined us on the program. Coach, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Now we'll get to the evening with Stephen Neal. That's Thursday, May 5th, an annual event. We'll talk about that in a minute. But tomorrow, and I teased this earlier, you kind of added this into the mix of your fundraising stuff this year. Bland Solar and Air, which is a fantastic sponsor, always big supporter of CSUB Wrestling and CSUB Athletics as a whole, is really put something unique on this year. So why don't you tell the folks what's happening tomorrow?
Yeah, Bland Solar's been vital to our program the past few years, and he's been so generous. And what he's done this year is he donated 4 solar panel systems to our auction. Nice. Which is Tuesday, May 5th. Right. But decided to have a pre-sale event. So the systems are valued at $20,000. They're 5 kilowatt systems, if anybody knows what that means. It's 20 panels, basically. Okay. We're $20,000.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, we're $20,000, and the starting bid price is $16,000.
Okay.
So we decided, hey, let's have a pre-sale, pre-auction event, which is going to be one day, tomorrow, April 22nd, at the Bland Solar Showroom, which is right next to Trader Joe's off Stockdale Highway, and just sell them for $16,000, the starting bid price. So
nice.
That's going on tomorrow.
Yeah.
From 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
Stephen Neal will be up for the event. They're going to have food and beverages there. So it's going to be a fun evening, and I know we've got some interested people already.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, and that's a great deal. I mean, with to get that for $16,000, which will help obviously your home, but it'll help the program as well. That's a pretty nice. If you could sell all 4 of those, even at the base price at $16,000, that would really help out your program, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. He donates the proceeds to our program. It's a huge help, and it's a win-win. You get stay cool.
Yeah.
Not pay too much for your electricity and help our program.
$16,000. That's about what I pay in the month of July for my my power bill in Bakersfield. So I mean, I think PG&E's taking that from me over each summer, so I could save a few bucks. So that's going to happen tomorrow. And did you ever see the latest Bland Solar commercial?
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
You saw my cameo in his commercial, my voice over at least in the commercial.
That's good.
Pretty awesome, huh? It was a great idea.
It was great.
I just told people to use. I didn't actually put it together. Kyle LaPere, who does a great job, works a lot of our stuff, did the commercial. But I was happy to make the cameo appearance. It was awesome. Yeah. Now let's get on to the evening with Stephen Neal, which is going to be Tuesday, May 5th, Stockdale Country Club this year. Always a fun event, and every year it seems like you evolve a little bit. So what's sort of on tap for this year's event?
This is our signature event. We raise a big portion of our budget through this event. It's a dinner and an auction. Steve Neal, of course, comes up for it, and our team is there. Our student athletes are there. But there's tons of auction items up. This year, I mean, you got an air conditioning unit. Nice. So
I need one. It's too late. I mean, mine went out right before Christmas, so I guess but yeah, believe me, someone else is going to go out at some point. You're going to need that.
Yeah. So air conditioning unit. We've got, weekend getaways. You got jewelry, the sports memorabilia. Nice. All kinds of stuff, tickets to concerts, gift certificates, anything you need. You need your car fixed, there's going to be stuff for that. You need something fixed in your house and plumbing, there's something for that. There's just all kinds of stuff that you can use. Beauty stuff for the women's side and stuff for the men too.
Nice, nice.
probably one of the signature events, or not events, items this year is going to be a motorbike, a bicycle with a motor on it.
Yeah.
It's a New England Patriots custom bike.
Nice.
Signed by New England Patriots. So your Super Bowl chance.
That's awesome. You got some pest
bike.
control? Because we have moths in the studio, apparently. They could use that here at our studios, but that's a first. So yeah, I saw the pictures. That's pretty cool. Didn't they do one of those last year? Right?
They did. They did a CSUB bike, CSUB wrestling bike last year.
Okay,
it was a hit. And
nice.
So
this year autographed, themed for the Patriots and autographed by the Patriots.
Yes.
That is very cool. So that'll be there as well. How much do tickets run for that event?
There's $75 per ticket, and you can get tickets by calling 302-4455.
Okay. Awesome. And we'll have some details up on our website as well, GoRunners.com, for this event. Check out the wrestling page. Again, an evening with Stephen Neal. That's Thursday, May 5th at the Stockdale Country Club, starting at 5:30. Great auction items. The cool part is Stephen continues to it never ceases to amaze me how his connection to the program never seems to be lost. Like every once in a while, something will come up. Maybe it's via Twitter or something, and they're mentioning Stephen Neal for I don't know what, but there's a connect. They're saying, oh yeah, from Cal State Bakersfield, and it's like his connection is never lost as long as every year it gets a little bit longer since he won his national championships and even his Super Bowl titles, but it continues to just the connection never goes away. It's amazing.
No, and it has to do with a guy like Steve Neal is just a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just awesome and gives back to the program so much. But that's the sport of wrestling too. It's just one of those sports that just once it's in your blood, it stays in your blood. And I think most people that have wrestled always want to get back to the sport that's helped them a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very cool. And every time, like I said, just that continually see things, and that connection never seems to go away. I know your season is over now. Give me your thoughts on real quick, kind of recapping last season and previewing next season, because your team looks very, very dangerous.
Yeah, no, we will have an improved team next year. And this team was a team that was right on the verge of some big wins. And I'll say, I think we were just a little shy of what we could have done this year. But it's good news because, we were right there knocking on the door, and the guys are fired up, and we will have an improved team. We had three seniors graduating. We had a couple guys in red shirt that are going to be coming out of red shirt, and our big guns are coming back as seniors. So we're looking forward to a good season.
You had a lot of injuries this year as well. It seemed like some guys could never get healthy.
Yeah, we did, and our returning All-American got hurt towards the end of the season, and so we lose our two-time Pac-12 champ and returning All-American. That stings a little bit, but. He'll be back this next season for his senior year.
And you seem to have, you had a lot of upperclassmen this year, but now, it was kind of your juniors that led the way. Those juniors are now seniors next year. I mean, look at, I don't know how rare it is to have that kind of leadership going into next year, is to have that many seniors that could be that good. I mean, that's something you see out of top 25 programs.
Yeah, no, we do. We've got some great seniors, and Ian Nickel and Adam Fierro coming back. They're at the NCAA tournament this year and got that experience, and they know exactly what they need to train for now that they've seen it. And Reuben Franklin, redshirted this year. He wrestled a lot of top guys. He would have been at the NCAA tournament this year.
So he wrestled well and attached when he wrestled.
He wrestled great, placed in every tournament, and he had been ranked in the top 15 in the country. So.
Nice, and so good looking squad coming back for next season as well. So once again, just to recap everything for everybody, tomorrow at Bland Solar and Air on Stockdale Highway, right next to Trader Joe's. Go in, you can meet Stephen Neal from 5:30 to 7:30, and purchase a solar system at a great discount. And all the proceeds will benefit CSUB Wrestling. So that's cool. That's happening tomorrow once again. Power to CSUB. There it is. And that will be from Bland Solar at right next to Trader Joe's. And you can go in there and get your system at a great discount and benefit CSUB Wrestling. And then Tuesday, May 5th, evening with Stephen Neal at the Stockdale Country Club. And once again, all those proceeds as well benefiting CSUB Wrestling. Again, it's a self-funded program, and you seem to have it pretty well figured out, Mike. I mean, you do a pretty darn good job at keeping this thing afloat.
Yeah, it's not me. It's really some of the great people in this community, like Glenn Bland and Vernon and Janice Varner and Craig Tobin, one of our alumni, and just a number of other people that just are connected to the wrestling program. I mean, it's really this community. I've got little to do with it. It's just some of these people that are involved with our program, really, that do so much work for this program, and we're indebted to them. We thank them. Our guys know it too, which puts a little bit more of that right pressure that they need. Like, there's people out in the community that are fighting for us.
Well, that's the thing. I think that you obviously the community is helping you out, but if you weren't returning the donations with great kids, great GPAs, guys that are graduating, going on to great things, and then obviously having All-Americans and national tournament qualifiers, people might say they might be a little less inclined to maybe donate. But every year, I guess, you return their investment.
Well, yeah, and I think we can do more to return that investment. I like to think that we've gotten better every year. That's no doubt. But I'd like to think this next year, the people that have been investing in this program are really going to be proud of that investment this next year. And I hate saying next year, but really this next season, we're looking for a great year. And while we've had some success here and there every year, it's going to all culminate into a great team this next season.
Absolutely. I mean, I brought it up because it's definitely the writing's on the wall for next season's team for sure. All right, Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with both these events. And again, folks can get involved tomorrow at Bland Stiller on Air. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Mike Mendoza here on Roadrunner Rundown. Again, details for the Stephen Neal event coming up on Tuesday, May the 5th, available on our website at GoRunners.com. Check out the wrestling page for more information. We are going to step away and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Josiah Castro once again as Runner April continues. Also joining him will be Marcia Mansur-Wentworth, our Director of Track and Field, and Richie Grant. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
East High! BHS! EC! CSUB!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
I am not going to ask him about funguses.
Fungi.
Honey, have you called Gunlax about fixing that toilet upstairs?
I saw a plumbing episode on the Fix It channel. Yeah, I can fix it.
You could try it yourself, or you could just call Gunlax and save your marriage.
Hey, honey, I think I did it.
Gunlax, 327-3052.
That wasn't so bad.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7? The Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield Californian. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes. We're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Mike Mendoza joining us from CSUB Wrestling. Again, you can check out. You can meet Stephen Neal tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30 at Bland Solar and Air on Stockdale Highway. That's Wednesday, April the 22nd. And you can also check him out and you can get those those solar units available, and those will benefit the CSUB Wrestling program. Speaking of tomorrow night, I want to remind you real quick, CSUB baseball starts an 8-game homestand tomorrow night, 6 o'clock at Hart Field against Cal State Fullerton, and then they will back it up this weekend. This is a first-place series. Seattle at CSUB Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday start time pushed to 2 p.m. for Celebrate CSUB. Sunday at noon. So first-place baseball in Bakersfield this weekend at Hart Field. So make sure you join us for those as well. And now we continue with hashtag Runner April, our big fundraising drive month, and Josiah Castro joins us again on the program at the end. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks, Corey.
Seeing a lot of you in April, man.
I know. Are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it.
Good,
I really
good.
am. It's one less segment of the show I have to book. So honestly, it's fantastic. I love it. Tell us, today we're going to be focusing on competition and the competition angle of the importance of scholarships. But just, recap real quick how things have gone in April. You've shared a lot of student-athlete stories through social media, through the website. How has the reaction and feedback been on that?
I think it's been great. When we look at the impressions and the shares and the likes across the board for the month, I'm told the numbers are really good. It's our first time doing something like this, so this is really benchmarking what we want to do next year. We've increased our online donations. A lot of people don't usually give online, and we've seen more online donations this month than we've seen in past months.
Great.
So I think it's working well.
Absolutely. And like we said, you're sharing stories of student athletes, whether it be through video, whether it be through just their pictures and kind of a quote and a testimonial. You're kind of showing people where this money goes. And also joining us on the show right now, in the middle, sandwiched in the middle, is Marcia Mansur-Wentworth, our director of track and field, and Richie Grant here on the end as well, our men's soccer head coach. And the reason why we have coaches here today is we're kind of talking about the competition angle of things and obviously how much scholarships help be competitive. Folks know that if you can fully fund programs to get you where you need to be, you can be more competitive. Marcia, you're a program that isn't fully funded, but you have been able to turn the money you do have into some championships. Brian Wilmert being a guy who's won a couple in the hammer throw, and what do those things sort of mean to your program?
Well, what it meant with Brian particularly is he began here at CSUB as a walk-on his first 2 years, and we were able to award him a partial scholarship, which he's incredibly grateful for, and couldn't be a better story about somebody that comes in and does well. And we're able to reward them with a scholarship because of generosity of our donors. And you've had people, too, along with Brian, who has won a championship. But I'm impressed looking this year as you guys get ready for the WAC championships coming up in a month or so, at so many people that have improved throughout the year. I mean, Carnell Grimes throwing the javelin, and Ariana Mariscal who went in the 800 in the women's side. I mean, you've had a lot of athletes that Megan Thompson comes to mind as well, and I'm probably forgetting Alyssa Page, that have just gotten that much better throughout the season. Yeah. Last year we had 3 men on the podium and 1 woman. This year we're looking for 6 men on the podium and 4 or 5 women. So it's a huge improvement, and we've had some local kids really, really step up, and then we were able to recruit some good people because of the scholarships that we have available, and we just try to make the best use out of them. I try to remind our student athletes where our scholarships come from, and that they honor them and they appreciate what people do to give them the opportunity to not only compete at CSUB, but to get an education. Yeah, and part of it, too, I mean, you talked about partial scholarships. I know you deal with those for the most part, but even just getting the student on books or some kind of aid. And it's a huge deal. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and for most of these kids, it's a huge honor. I mean, they're just thrilled when they sign that scholarship paper, or they get one and they began here as a walk-on. I just think it's the most exciting thing when we can give a walk-on a scholarship, and I think that's just the most fun thing a coach can do. It's a thrill. Yeah, Richie Grant joining us as well, men's soccer head coach. And you got some of the similar things. You're breaking some scholarships up here and there between some of your guys. And second place finish last year in the WAC. You're a couple PKs away from the NCAA tournament. So obviously, you have some benefit from the scholarship fund in your program. And, for absolutely. And we graduated 5 lads, and all of them were receiving some type of scholarship from men's soccer, and they've all have their degrees, and they've all gone different ways now, so I think that's
a testimony to the people that give. They don't realize the impact that it's maybe having on these young lives. You know, it's not always about the amount or where it goes. It's that they're pursuing a degree. And the key thing with this money is that it's for their grades. It's for their schooling.
Yeah.
And we're constantly reminding our student athletes of that, you know, that it's important that they not just be on track with NCAA standards, but that they're moving aggressively to graduation. And that's really encouraging to us. And off air, we were chatting, you know, we've only been a Division I university for a short amount of time in the big picture. We're new to the WAC as well. So competitive equity is really important to us in terms of scholarships, you know, trying to be, you know, if we really want to chase championships, that has to be a part of it, because nowadays with recruiting, it's so aggressive in terms of the number of universities that are out there that we're competing with.
Yeah, and what they can offer as well. And we have some information on competition that we're going to throw up on the screen here. Here's kind of what this has over the years. What right, Josiah? This is kind of over the years what the scholarship fund has provided to CSUB, Division I and Division II.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, this is what the results are. We've talked about in the classroom what the results are, competing at a high level there. We've talked about community and how connected they are. And we are athletes too. The student part comes first, the community comes second, and then competing comes third, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
And you're seeing results. And the only way for us to grow the results and really get back to that level that we were Division II is by getting the best athletes. The best athletes need an education, want an education. That's what's most important to them. So when we can provide that to them, we can start seeing even more wins in our column.
And that's important to both the student athletes and even the parents too, because I know what it's like on the recruiting trail, and coaches, you can back this up. I mean, it's pretty cutthroat. So you might be talking to a kid in another school is going, yeah, but we can offer you this, you know, and so you're sometimes saying, I might only have this. So I guess, you know, the more you have, the more really, I guess, leverage you have in recruiting, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it's you know, that's why there are other factors that you have to be able to sell our university, and the advantages that CSUB has, that it's a smaller Division I school without American football. Is an advantage to many of the athletes that want to choose our school, because then a lot of the other sports are prioritized.
Sure.
And you know, what's been really impressive to me is just the rise in our academic culture in the last year alone. I'm only here a minute, so but there's been a heavy emphasis on improved grades, and I think the people that contribute to scholarship have to be applauded for that, because there's a big correlation now between if you're given a student monies to participate as a student athlete, we need to be confident that they're going to be getting good grades and going to their classes and using the money for what it's supposed to be. And I think that department, the academic department with Dina on campus, they're doing it amazing. And now that the students do not waste the scholarship. It's become, you know, if you get that, you also, I'm rambling here, but you also...
I ramble for an entire hour when I
very
do the
good.
show, so just continue.
Scholarship is something that can be increased over the cycle of their
Yeah.
careers. And I know that that's something that I've always used as a coach, that, you know, if you're a good citizen, if you're a good performer on the field, and if you're a good student, there are avenues to increase your scholarship.
And I know you said you've only been here for a short time, but you have made the place smarter just by your presence here as well. Coach Marcia, what kind of, and Coach Grant brings up an important point. I mean, obviously trying to recruit athletes here when you're trying to figure out how to, you know, pay for their scholarships. But what is kind of your pitch? Because you've been able to get, as we said, you've got a WAC champion. You've got people competing for WAC championships. On an individual level, you're not where you can fill the bodies to really compete for a team championship yet, but you've got some individual championship. What's kind of your push and your pitch?
Well, what we're doing is we're recruiting people, not just marks. We want to have the people that want to be at CSUB, they want to be runners, and they're not settling. And I think before maybe they were recruiting just bodies and not necessarily the people that wanted to be here, that took pride in being a road runner. We want the people that want to be here, that believe in what we're doing. I have a great assistant, and then the former head coach, Alan Colat, stayed on and worked with our throwers, which is why they're so successful. But they want to be here, and they take a great deal of pride in it. And they're as proud to be here as athletes at your major schools. And those are the people we wanted, plus the people that are here to get their degrees. and we take grades very, very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we find out every time that grade check forms come out.
And that was something that you brought up. I mean, we talked about it last week on the show. The academic numbers, having the highest quarter GPA, hitting 3.0 for a quarter for the first time ever across the athletics department, to nearly have the cum GPA, which is everybody's active GPAs, over 3.0. I mean, you as coaches, I guess, in the past, I know a lot of the tutoring and academic help went through the coaches. Now you have these resources. I mean, obviously, it's been pretty valuable.
We can spend more of our time coaching our athletes.
Isn't that something?
And not chasing down whether somebody's not going to class or not, passing a class, or when they come to us, and this is the culture we've created, is they come to us now and say, I got a poor grade on my midterm. Well, go see the tie, go get the tutoring. We're not just going, buckle down and try harder. We have the tools to send the people that are struggling, and we're able to, with a lot of our kids, and I'm sure Richie's found this too, is they might be struggling at midterms, but they end up pulling up their grades because of the tremendous resources we now have that we didn't even when I got here 2.5 years ago. I mean, I think this academic support staff has probably tripled or quadrupled since the 2 part-timers, and I think that our athletic administrations realized how important that is to make sure that our kids graduate and it's part of the student-athlete experience.
Yeah, and again, that's also part of the return on investment, as you pointed out, Coach. I mean, people are giving money to obviously help get an education for a student-athlete, so they better get the education part.
Absolutely.
Right?
And listen, you just had Mike on, and look at the way the community is stepping up for the wrestling program.
Yeah.
And I think they would do that regardless of what division we were in, because there's a heartbeat here for wrestling. It's got a fantastic history. But now that they're competing in the Pac-12, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That their student athletes get a chance to go against one of the best conferences in the country. So I think people like that contribute can really see the fruits of it. The other thing that I think Josiah can really point to, for me, what's been so amazing is that their grades we're graduating the kids, they've got good grades, we're all competing to the best of their ability on the field, and everybody wants to win a WAC championship. But we have some really neat kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones writing your letters. They're the ones. These are the guys connect. It's not the coaches connecting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very unique situation at a university, because normally the school sells,
yeah,
or the athletic department sells it, and you want to have good grades. At CSUB, the kids sell it. How could you not want to help James Garces get a degree?
Yeah.
I mean, these are real. These are the products that we're turning out, and they're going to do great in this community or somewhere else afterwards. They're going to be proud of their CSUB degree. So what this town is learning is how to embrace a Division I program.
Yeah.
And the success is going to come, and they're going to be proud of the teams on the field and in the court. But right now, we should take great pride in the fact that these kids are graduating and that they're really good citizens.
Absolutely. No, a great point and well said. And I think, by the way, Chris, can you tell me real quick if Tyonna's shown up yet? Okay, we haven't seen her. So you guys hang out, because we might need to cover the next segment. We got more to talk about. Tyonna Outland's a WNBA prospect now. She might not have time to be on Roadrunner Rundown. So I'm thinking, I haven't seen her yet, so you guys hang out. We'll talk more about scholarships in the next segment. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, there you go. That's called just adapting, people. All right, we're going to step away and come back. More with our coaches and Josiah regarding scholarships and competition, and maybe Tyonna Outland will show up. She's a WNBA prospect now with the LA Sparks. I don't know. I might just be off her important list now. So we'll be back with more. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all these great rivalries. But despite all these rivalries, there's still one thing we can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Current Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, transportation, and more. Visit currentbusinessjournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on currentbusinessjournal.com.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
And in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community, a tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
And welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Richie Grant, CSUB men's soccer, Marcia Mansur-Wentworth, CSUB track and field, and Josiah Castro, our assistant AD for annual giving, because I had to kick them out of the studio. They were doing great, but in fact, Tyonna Outland has made an appearance on the program. Congratulations, number one. You're signing with the Los Angeles Sparks. That is fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I was just making sure. I thought maybe you've gotten to that point that I was, that this show wasn't as important because you're a WNBA prospect now.
No, that one. And I came right over from a workout, so I tried to freshen up and everything. I didn't want to come over here sweaty or anything.
I know. I appreciate you making sure that you're ready to go and getting your workouts in as well. So very nice. Talk about how this came apart. I know. As the season sort of winded down, you were talking to folks about potentially WNBA overseas stuff, as most seniors are. So kind of talk about how this whole deal with the WNBA sort of came about.
Oh, so pretty much like after season and everything, like I said, I wanted to go WNBA. I knew that it would kind of be a long shot because of the situation of smaller university, and then a lot of people was looking at, bigger universities as usual. But Coach McCall and my shooting coach, Coach Ivory Manning, put in a lot of work calling, sending videos, highlight tapes, and everything. And finally, some teams just came of interest. And the Sunday before the draft, I actually had a workout with the general manager of the Sparks, and she was really interested in everything and told me I had a shot of the draft. But, the call is just as great because everybody have to make the camp. So it was just awesome and everything, getting that call in front of my family. My whole family was there because we had a little draft party and stuff. And it was just a lot of work, just, staying motivated. Some days I was just like, is it worth it? Like, am I working out for nothing? And it was really hard. I cried sometimes. I'm like, man, like it don't seem like it's gonna work. And then stuff just started happening quick.
Yeah, and the cool part, it came down. I know Coach McCall calls me and says, all right, they're to the last round. They're not going to draft Ty, but they're going to sign her after the draft is over. So you essentially sign what I know a lot of sports will call, non-drafted free agent contracts. So but you, like every other draft pick, are going to show up to camp, and you've got to basically prove your worth, right?
Exactly. We all got to show up and just prove that we're there for what they've been looking for, basically for our game. So we all have an equal opportunity to make the team. Maybe I'm a little behind because I didn't get drafted, but honestly, I'm not looking at it that way. I'm going in there like I have to go with the intention to like kill people on the floor.
Yeah, and the great part is, I mean, it's funny you were mentioning that you got frustrated because really, like, you have got a great story and everything that you faced to even get to this point. Like, I mean, I'm surprised that even got to you because you've gone through so much. I mean, really, I guess being an underdog probably doesn't bother you that much.
Well, not really, but at some point it's kind of like who when you want to get to some places. Yeah. So it was like, dang, like how am I gonna get to know these people and how am I gonna do this? But I just kept faith and I prayed and stuff and one day I just said forget it. If anything's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And I felt like I worked hard enough for something to happen, and it did.
Awesome. And so you'll report to camp in early May and go from there, right?
Well, actually, I have a great opportunity to work out with some of the returners starting May 1st.
Nice.
And get some workouts in before even the draft picks and stuff get there and get to know some of the players and the coaches. And then May 17th is the official date of camp.
Nice. And how cool is that? The LA Sparks, you grew up watching them. You grew up not too far away from the training facility. This is like a definition for you of your hometown team.
Yes, this is a dream come true. Coming up from middle school, elementary, I always mention the Sparks. I never mentioned another team. I was always, I want to play for the Sparks. I want to play with Lisa Leslie. I mean, of course I can't. She retired, but it was just like just a dream come true. If I had any other choice, I would have definitely just chose them. They were like my number one pick to try to get there.
And you know what? We have been talking so much in the month of April about scholarships and the importance of scholarships, and Josiah and some of the coaches were just here talking about that. But you are, and you will continue to be, a success story of a scholarship recipient. And how much did it mean for you? I mean, you've got this opportunity now. You've got one degree. You're working on a second, and you're going to go be a professional basketball player. So how much has that scholarship and that opportunity from the Scholarship Fund really meant to you?
It meant a lot, just give them. If it wasn't for that scholarship, I would never been able to reach my dream right now. So it's just like a blessing, and like for them to just give me that scholarship and for me to take that opportunity and run with it. So I just tried to seize every moment with it. And so far, it's working out.
It absolutely is, and you'll be on the floor with the Sparks in May, and hopefully you're on the floor with them in June when the season starts.
Yes.
Have you watched, you obviously watched WNBA basketball, and now are you at the point where you're like, man, I got to go up against some of these gals. They're a little bit bigger than me and this and that. And, how do you feel about that?
Well, honestly, I always be put in the situation of playing against bigger people because I'm an undersized scorer. But, I had one tendency. So I'm pretty much the size for a 1 in the WNBA.
Okay.
But honestly, at this point, I'm not nervous. I was more nervous of getting my foot in the door and them giving me an opportunity. But now it's like, go do what you've been doing for this long. So.
Okay, great. So you think they might want to turn you into like a point guard or something?
Most likely they're going to probably.
So you got to pass now. You got to pass.
No, I'm still going to score because they said they still looking for me to score. Because that's what I've been doing. So they said don't really change my game, but most likely I'm probably going to have to start from the 1, which is a little bit more passing.
Yeah, a little bit more, but like they say, I know with like the NBA D League and the NBA basketball, like a lot of it is read based, and if there's nothing open, hey, I got to go make a play and score. So I guess that's right up your alley.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, no, congratulations, Tyonna. I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad everything worked out, and we're really pulling for you to make this squad. I think it's like June, I want to say 3rd or 7th. I think the WNBA season opens in Los Angeles, and really hope you're on that roster. We'll have to take a CSUB field trip down there to see opening night at the Staples Center.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm really hoping that I can make the team and make them impressed of my game. So.
All right. Well, best of luck to you,
Thank you.
We'll be pulling for you and updating folks on your progress as well.
Thank you.
All right. Tyonna Outland here on Roadrunner Rundown, again signing with the WNBA's LA Sparks, and we'll be hopefully making the squad as they get their season started in June. By the way, folks, remind you, don't forget, 8-game home homestand for baseball. Let's put it that way. Opens Wednesday at Hartfield against Cal State Fullerton, a non-conference game. They'll be back on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, hosting Seattle, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and noon. And those games also available here on Bakersfield.com. But get out to Hartfield and check it out as the Roadrunners open an 8-game homestand. They're home the next 2 weeks. So it's a first-place series this weekend. Don't miss out on that at all. You can also check out this program anytime online at GoRunners.com. One more thing to mention, we've got the Even with Stephen Neal, which is Tuesday, May 5th. Spring Barbecue, which is Thursday, May 14th, and Brains of Bakersfield, which Richie Grant was just in talking to us, the men's soccer head coach. That fundraiser coming up on May 28th. That's a lot of fun as well at the Accardo Center. It's your trivia challenge, annual trivia challenge. A lot of fun. More details available soon at GoRunners.com. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. As again, get the show anytime online here at GoRunners.com. Follow us on Facebook and Facebook at Facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners, Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics. We will catch you next week. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.